In a world where the paranormal meets the preposterous, where ghostly whispers echo through the abandoned arcades, and every creaky floorboard might just be a clue, two bravish souls dare to investigate the mysteries no one else will touch.
We're Boo-Foons, mystery investigators. We don't always get it right, but we always get it weird.
Hey there, mystery lovers and mischief makers. I'm Steve.
And I'm Dan, together with the Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators, your guides through the weird, the wild, and the wonderfully unexplained.
Each week, we dive headfirst into bizarre tales, haunted happenings, and conspiracy theories so strange they'll make your nan's ghost stories sound like bedtime lullabies.
We're talking cursed vacuum cleaners, psychic pigeons, haunted theme parks, and maybe, just maybe, a few real clues along the way.
So grab your flashlights, your EMF detectors, and maybe a snack, because things are about to get weird.
This is the Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators, where the only thing scarier than the truth is how much fun we're having finding it. So welcome to the Boo-Foons Mystery Investigators, brand new podcast dropping very, very soon. And this is our sort of initial introduction to let you know who we are, who the Boo-Foons are, and also what you can expect from this podcast going forward. And be warned, there are going to be bits where we're going to be very ridiculous and silly, because that's just in our nature.
Who knows where it's going to go? You can never tell. You can never tell. I tend to get distracted quite easily.
Yeah, I think we both do, and that's sort of going to be the joy of it, is with this whole thing, we're going to end up with people just like, what on earth? Weren't they talking about this a moment ago? But
well, I think that just the average conversation we have anyway. How did we get there?
Yeah, that is pretty much every conversation we have, isn't it? You know,
it is.
And then the way we go back to the initial conversation and go, oh yeah, we were talking about that about 4 days ago.
Do you know that might put people off this? Yeah, people may not want to listen into just a couple of blokes losing track of reality. For that takes us on to what we're doing, because I mean there is reality is quite blurred these days, I think.
Yes, and that's exactly what we're going to be looking at, is all the unknown, all the mysteries and weird stories, the unexplained stories, aren't we? Looking at ghosts and witches, aliens, maybe folk stories, all the weird and unknown mysteries and stuff.
The stuff, mysteries. Right, Dan, introduce yourself.
Yes, so I am Dan. I'm a part-time radio presenter and full-time buffoon. So I spend my time on the radio just playing music, talking to random guests. I've had a few guests on. I've had your son on talking about his band.
My son or the listener's son?
Steve's son. Your son, not the listener's son. Although it would be weird if I had the listener's sons on there as well, without knowing. Maybe the listeners have a son they don't know about that I've interviewed on the radio.
Or maybe the listeners have a son they would like you to interview on the radio.
Oh, well, they can happily get in touch with us and arrange that. Maybe there's something interesting. But anyway, part of that, I'm live at least once a week with a show. And as part of my job at the radio, if I know I'm going to be ill at any point or for whatever reason cannot do the show live, I have done several pre-records and several edits where I got you on to help me with a special Christmas episode. And
probably your last Christmas episode, yeah? You're not going to let you back on again, are they, really, after that?
Well, who knows? I had a lot of very positive comments. A lot of the other presenters were that complimentary of that, which I think gave us the idea for this podcast in the first place. Yes. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me, radio presenter and now full-time buffoon.
Yeah, well,
I guess over to you, Steve, to introduce you.
Yeah. I'm Steve. I am known online as Horsenberger. I've been doing teletext artwork. That's where I've pretty much been known so far. Apart from that, I'm not known as anything else, apart from the dad of somebody that Dan has interviewed on the radio. But yeah, we've known each other for a good few years.
Yes. I reckon it must be. Oh, well, it's definitely at least 10 years. It's over 10 years now, I'd say. I maybe 11, 12 years at the time of recording this.
It's got to be. It's Dan I used to work at a certain place, and then Dan started as a student training,
yes,
and was having a pretty tough time. The environment wasn't too friendly to him.
No, yeah, it sort of
we've
felt
been very careful what we've got to say, haven't we?
we have, because it could end up in libel and that sort of thing. But no, it wasn't great, and it felt, although I was being trained up in the job and in the role, it also felt like I wasn't a good match for that particular working environment, and it felt very much like I didn't necessarily belong there, and you were there to pick me up and keep encouraging me so I could actually train and eventually spread my wings and go elsewhere. And you were there. And actually, things in my personal life, you have been there every single time something in my life has completely, utterly crashed and burned, and you've been there to pick up the pieces. And it's created this lasting friendship.
And you have had a very colourful personal life. But work-wise, I mean, like I said, work, I could see the potential in you. I could see how well you did the job. And I was worried you were going to quit. And I think at some point you were thinking about packing it all in. And I'm glad you didn't, because you've excelled in your job.
Well, thank you very much.
And your career has, bloomed.
And you were there to help me every step of the way in those early days, which was absolutely great. And I will forever be thankful for.
And that's why I think we've, known each other through so much over the years, and how we've ended up here today. And again, I don't know how we actually ended up here today. How did we decide on doing a supernatural paranormal podcast?
Well, I think I remember in the very early days of you and I being friends, and when we used to do the movie nights with do you remember that time we ordered large pizzas, and when they arrived, they turned out to be tray pizzas?
Yeah, I think, I'm not joking here, but I think I actually ended up in hospital after that, because I was having trouble with my gallbladder at the time. I know I ate pizzas twice on two different occasions and ended up in A&E. And I think that might have been because I finished off like those tray pizzas in one sitting after you left, perhaps. I know I did after my son's birthday. I ate two large, huge pizzas myself, and then my gallbladder packed in, and I ended up in intensive care.
I think how the mistake happened was we were looking at Domino's and realised that I don't know if we're allowed to say brands, but we were looking at.
Oh yeah, we can say what we want.
Yeah, and the prices of their large pizzas were quite a lot, and then we saw large pizzas advertised from a kebab shop.
Andreas Pizza, I think it
might
was.
have been,
or it might have been a different one. But yeah, they did these massive trays. Didn't know they were so big.
Yeah. And we didn't realise they were a tray pizza. We just saw large pizza. That's how it was advertised, and we ended up ordering that large pizza. And when they arrived, there was I remember the delivery man just there with the two huge trays. Yeah.
But he took one look at me at the time and thought, yeah, he can eat it. He'll be fine.
But it was part of those movie nights that we had, and I believe we started talking about potentially doing a YouTube channel or something to do with a podcast talking about horror films. And then our life circumstances changed because you moved away from the area. I ended up getting very busy with work, so it never happened.
Yep. Yeah, because it was a big move. I mean, I literally the other side of the country. I moved as far away from you as possible.
I tried not to take offence. I try not to take offence now.
But again, that was just, for mental health reasons, I had to get away, be relocated to the seaside, off to the coast. And in beautiful Devon. I mean, definitely worked wonders for my mental health.
Yes,
Yeah,
and it is absolutely beautiful. Matt,
yeah,
hopefully one day I can move down there with you and join you.
yeah. With us? I mean, there's enough room in
Yeah.
the house.
Yeah, I can move into the cool room that you're currently recording this in, where you've got all that Lego.
Oh, this is mine. You're not even going to set foot in this place.
But I think it was from those early days, and obviously we didn't manage to make it happen then. And then with me getting heavily involved with the radio and doing all those recordings, and like I mentioned earlier, you joining me on that Christmas special, we ended up with so many positive sort of reviews of that show. And I actually read one that was on social media saying that Christmas Day episode of my show, which was us, was the best show that went out the whole of the Christmas period on the radio station. So there was a lot of very positives that came from it. And I think we then went, well, that wasn't too bad recording that. And I went, well, it wasn't too bad editing it. And between us, we went, let's do a podcast.
You definitely saved it in the edit, that was for sure. Because again, too many random trails of insanity. I think that's all I can remember is I don't know how long we spoke for, but it was great. It was really good. I like I say, personally, don't have very much confidence in myself. This kind of thing. I don't really do much speaking. I don't like cameras. I don't like hearing my voice. So it was a big thing for me to actually be on that podcast. Sorry, be on that radio show with you. I never listened to it because I can't stand my voice. I'm just not used to it. I think over time it will get better. But there's always so many things. I'm too critical in everything I do. That's the trouble. But you're helping me, bringing me out of my out of my comfort zone into something I'm actually started to really enjoy. So I got to thank you for that.
Well, you're very welcome, and it's that whole thing of you are far better than what you give yourself credit for. And I know that listeners out there to our podcast are going to end up going, yeah, no, you definitely don't have any of those doubts at all. Look, you're amazing, you're brilliant, you sound really confident. And I know there are people out there who are going to doubt. And I know for a fact that you hate this sort of thing. I've been with you at events where you've spoken about teletext stuff, and you have been so nervous going up to the panel, and then you've sat there the whole time looking very worried, and every time they ask you a question, your face is very much, oh no, not a question on me. But then you start speaking, and it's almost like you're the most comfortable person on the panel that's there.
I tend to look like that because I've completely blanked everything that's happened up until that point. Like you just suddenly say something to me. It's like, to be honest, I'm not. Hopefully, nobody from work is going to hear me say this, but it's pretty much like me in any meeting at work. But it's amazing how much you can recall in the seconds you actually need to. So that's okay. Maybe I did it take in more than I thought. But yeah, this is really out of my comfort zone. But I think it's something I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to enjoy doing podcasts with you. We've got some of the subjects are so great. There's so much material. It's just going to be fun. I think that's the main thing. And again, that's when we were talking about doing this kind of podcast. You did lots of research in other people and their supernatural, paranormal, conspiracy theory podcasts. And how did you decide we were going? Our USP was going to be.
So. And no disrespect to any other podcaster out there and any other podcast, but finding what we were going to do, I did trawl through loads of YouTube channels, including some that you and I both love and watch. And we sometimes message each other going, did you see that one? Did you see this episode? That was a bit weird. And I found that they fell into one of two categories. Either someone very dry and boring who's just listing all the facts, and well, dry and boring to me. Other people love them because I believe the one that I'm quoting has over, well, in the thousands of listeners, so it's a very successful podcast. But it was just somebody sitting there going, And there was a haunted house, and there was a ghost, and the ghost was walking through the wall. But people obviously enjoy it, and fair play. And then on the other hand, there were the people that were very much, oh my God, ghosts are real, aliens are real, aliens are undercover in every part of the world, and they're hiding in government, and they're taking over the world, and there are ghosts that are controlling everything and moving everything in my house. So it was either people that were rather dry or people that were very much, this is 100% real. And I know from conversations with you that we both love these stories, and we're both rather skeptical of it. However, we would like to experience something that I know you have, to basically make us go, maybe there is some truth in this somewhere. So, and we're both massive fans of things like Top Gear, and obviously that went on to be the Grand Tour. So from all the research and all the listening, I went, hang on a minute. We are both very entertaining when we talk to each other. We're very random. We come up with very witty comments to it, especially you. You're definitely the comedian out of the two of us. However much I would love to be a comedic genius, you're definitely the comedic genius out of the two of us. And I went, hang on a minute. Maybe if we combine the two and sort of be entertaining whilst also being factual, that would be a great thing to do. And I basically figured that with this podcast, we do some research into a story, whether it's a ghost story, whether it's a folk story, whether it's something about witchcraft, and then we tell the listeners the story, and then we discuss it. And that discussing will be us being our random selves, and that's going to provide all the entertainment.
Well, I want to thank you for saying I'm the witty one, but that's only because I grew up in that generation that still had lead in fuel and lead in paint. So it had a lot of paint licking when I was younger. I think it's just brain damage. That's all. So I wouldn't put anything past that. But yeah, and that's the thing. I don't believe in a lot of things, but I've experienced less than a handful of events in my life I can't explain. But those three things that I've experienced still puts doubt in my head that everything is faked. I doubt everything is faked. I doubt it's all just stories, just because. But I'm very skeptical. But there's something there. There's just something, because I've experienced three things in my rational mind, sober as I usually am, because I never drink. Unlike Dan, who is a bad example. Who is a bit of a fan of proper beer.
Well, what the listeners can't actually see is directly behind me is a post that says, I drink and I know things.
Which is you exactly.
Which is me exactly.
Yeah,
I think that's why the friend that got me this poster bought it for me. Obviously, it's a Game of Thrones quote, but yeah.
Yeah, and that says the same for me. I don't drink. And I don't have anything between my head and everything between my ears. It's just empty space. Gosh, that was shriveled up when I used to drink. That was it.
Yeah, you're far too harsh to yourself.
Yeah. But definitely, I mean, I have experienced this. And we will talk about those things in the future because, and again, I wasn't the only person who experienced these things, which also makes me believe that there's got to be something out there somewhere. Whether it be UFOs, aliens, or even ghost paranormal, or even just multiple dimensions. I don't know what could explain it, but something's got to be able to explain stuff. But hopefully we'll investigate. We'll go out and we'll visit places. We'll look at stories, but we'll go out as well, and we will do whatever we can to pick up as much evidence. But it's going to be hard to convince me unless I see it myself.
Well, I want to cheekily invite myself to yours because as part of doing some research for stories, I found some stories about, and this links in with you saying about me liking beer. There's a few pubs near you, which I've read some stories about that apparently have ghosts in them. So I'd quite like to cheekily invite myself down to come and look at those pubs.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not just the pubs because I've been looking at, I live very close to Dartmoor, and you look at the legends of Dartmoor and the stories about the hauntings and the mysterious things on Dartmoor. You could come down for a month and we would still have in Devon and Cornwall 10,000 things to look at after we'd been out every day. And this is just this part of the country. This is just the Southwest. You start talking about where you are originated from.
Norfolk and the Fens.
There's so much there. And that wonderful place, Suffolk, which has the most amazing. I got to say, I love one of the stories that I think we're going to look at. I'm convinced that I can't remember which story it was, but I'm sure it will come up. But I think Suffolk and Norfolk both claim this ghost or this story themselves. They both claim the same thing.
That's the painting where it's heavily contested whether whether the location is Norfolk or Suffolk. Now, geographically, technically it's Suffolk, but
technically it's Suffolk, but legally morally it's Norfolk. Yeah,
in my opinion, yes. In my humble opinion, of somebody that doesn't like that football team that plays in Suffolk, I
can't wait for us to do that one. That'd be a great episode.
What,
are you actually allowed to go to Suffolk? Yeah, do you have passport control or something? Anything like that?
Well, it's funny you say it. At the time of recording this episode, I'm actually days away from visiting my grandparents who have recently moved to Suffolk. And last when
you're even talking to them,
yeah,
or is it just because house prices are cheaper there?
To be fair, that is partly why they moved there. But when I have visited them there before, I always make sure to wear a bright yellow and green Norwich City top, just to show that I'm a Norfolk boy and I'm not going to stand for the silliness of that team that exists there.
You're a brave man.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, my parents have moved to Norfolk, so I get to visit them every so often. I've been a few times this year. Hopefully be up a few more, and maybe we can meet up there one day. Or for a couple of days. Cool. That'd be great.
And of course, the other thing that links where I'm from and where you currently live in mystery is the Black Hounds.
They're everywhere, aren't they?
Where it's heavily contested whether Conan Doyle based it on the Black Hounds of Dartmoor or whether Conan Doyle based it on Black Shuck from East Anglia.
But they also mentioned Black Shuck down here as well. I've seen it mentioned. But no, it's obviously Dartmoor because he wrote about Dartmoor.
Yeah.
It was talking about visiting Plymouth. It was Dartmoor. It was here. Of course, it's not. He didn't do anything in Norfolk.
Well, we'll have to research that one and make it an episode, won't we? Yeah. And settle the debate once and for all. That could be one of our investigations.
Get that one down the list. Yeah.
Yes. We will investigate Conan Doyle and the Hound of the Baskervilles.
Yeah. So,
can I wear a deerstalker for that one?
You please wear a deerstalker.
Hopefully the Patreon. Well, hopefully the Patreons can invest enough into the podcast that I can then get a deerstalker.
God, just imagine that. Yeah, right. I'm not seeing your tax return. Business claim, deerstalker. Well, I tell you what I bought. I got to show you. I'm not showing you. Yes, I got this. It's got night vision, so when I can go, it's got infrared night vision, and it's so good. I'm going to go creeping around the moors in the middle of the night. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to tell you about the story last time we went out looking at something in the moors in the middle of the night and we parked up. That was a bit unfortunate.
Well, considering you haven't actually said what it is, and I can see it because we're doing this over video. I can say anything at this point as to why you're creepy going across Dartmoor with that particular item. I can say anything about that item right now.
You can. Yeah, okay. It's my new camcorder. 4K infrared night vision camcorder for when we go ghost hunting.
That's so cool.
And it's so clear, the night vision. I'm so looking forward to whipping it out in the dark.
You often whip it out in the dark.
Well, that's what happened on Dartmoor when we were parked up. Yeah, okay, we'll leave that for another day as well. But that's sometimes the level of this podcast is going to get down to.
Yes.
Is there anything else you think we need to say for the listeners?
Well, all I will say to the listeners is do enjoy the podcast. If you have got any stories that you really like about, it can be ghosts, it can be folklore, it can be myth, legend, alien, anything at all that's a bit unexplained or a bit weird, you can get in touch with us on our socials. Now, if you search for Boo-Foons across pretty much every social media platform, you should be able to find us. We've got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, or X as it's known now. So you'll be able to find us on there and get in touch with us that way. Obviously, we've got the website, got the Patreon. There are loads of ways that you can get in touch with us if you've got a story you want us to look at. And hopefully we try and get a good mix of stories across the UK and also even the world. It would be good to get some stories from outside the UK because all of my knowledge is UK based.
I got a few overseas ones, but it might be hard for us to actually get there to investigate. So we'll probably just talk about those ones for the time being. But who knows in future? Who knows? You can see the ghosts of Marrakesh. That could be quite interesting.
Yes. I've probably got some of those from when I actually went to Morocco noted down somewhere.
But it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And how many episodes are we planning to? Is it going to be once a week? Are we planning at the moment? One a week?
I think, I think we said once a week. It'll be released weekly. And at the time of recording this, we haven't actually decided which day it will go out, so we can't advertise that bit. But it is going to be weekly. And we'll just keep generating them and popping them out. And there'll be a mix of episodes where we talk about one, maybe two mysteries in the episode, depending how much information we've got to talk about. And then we'll have some special episodes. So when I've cheekily invited myself down to you to explore Dartmoor and some of the pubs, we can do some feature-length special episodes where we talk about our investigations of actual road trips.
And they may even be under the influence, knowing you. Actually, thinking about it, most episodes might be even when you're working from home.
Yes. Although for this one, I'm not. One, I'm drinking some Pepsi Max. So I'm being very sensible today.
Yeah, I'm on the hard stuff. I'm on the sparkling water.
Sparkling water.
I know. What a life we lead. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll lifestyle.
Rock and roll. But yeah, so we're going to upload this first. And then hopefully we can get some, if you're interested, subscribe to our podcast as well. And then you'll be the first to hear once it's uploaded.
Yes, and then, subscribe to whichever platform you're listening to this on, because we are hoping to get it out on or as many platforms as possible. So, do click that follow button or a heart or whatever it is on the platform you're listening to us on. And, follow us on the socials.
Do you know, I don't listen to any podcasts. It's really bad.
I listen to
some. How does this podcast thing work? Is it like radio?
It is.
You don't have to explain. That's all right.
No. You saying that? I don't know if I told you about that post that I saw somebody put up online, which said about maybe they should come up with a system that is like podcast, but it all goes out at the same time, so everybody can listen to it at the same time live, and. It annoyed me because clearly that person had never heard of radio. So that's why I laughed when you said that.
Yeah, COVID's got a lot to answer for. 2 years of lockdown has done a lot of damage.
But with you saying not listening to podcasts, basically a lot of them are like what we're doing now. Sit and have a chat about a topic. So the ones that I follow, and I'm not going to name them, but I will say one of them's from some comedians, and they talk about food, what food they like. There's another one that I listen to that's all about life advice, usually a little bit of bizarre. It's more bizarre life advice. So things of what do you do if your date's gone horrendously wrong in various different ways, or what do you do if this awkward thing happens? So it's not life.
Why do you listen to that one, Dan?
Because it's absolutely ridiculous and stupid. Some of the
I got some good life advice.
Stories.
I got the life advice for you. This is serious. No, I was going to say what we do. Talk. If something goes wrong, find someone to talk to. Find a friend, anyone to talk to. And it's amazing that can make things so much better. Never keep things in. I think once people move past that and stop keeping things, internalizing things till it gets so bad you can't get out of it, just talking. Then you can end up on your own podcast.
Yeah, and we're fortunate that that's the relationship that we have as friends. We're fortunate that we have each other for that. But yeah, and it is surprising how when you do start talking to people, how many people you do. They always say you learn who your friends are, and it is surprising how many people are willing to talk, and that you don't have to just shun them away with "I'm fine" or "I'm okay." Yeah.
Even if a stranger offers to listen, it's still talking.
Yes.
It's still talking. There are people out there who will listen. I mean, I genuinely tell people that I know, it may not even know them that well, that they can talk to me if they need to talk. And sometimes it's easier if you're not tied up with it. And I'm a good listener. As I said earlier, that I tend to forget things straight away anyway. So nothing ever goes any further because I've just forgotten. But anyway, I think maybe we should leave it there.
Yes, and hopefully as this podcast develops and goes forward, we'll have loads of stories of the unexplained with lots of banter between the two of us and lots of stupidity and buffoonery.
Buffoonery. It's still the best name. We're the only buffoons online, so boo-foons or Boo-Foons. I think we're the only ones available.
We are. The only thing that I found with the name Boo-Foons was somebody used it in a news story to take the mickey out of a sports person. I can't remember if it was rugby or football, but somebody used that term, something to do with his name or the nickname of the club or something. Yeah. It was some sort of clever pun. But yeah, we are the only Boo-Foons out there, and you'll find us across social media. And yeah, whatever platform you are listening to us all, thank you for listening. And we hope you're going to come back to learn about some mysteries.
Yeah, I hope we learned about them as well. And should we try to sign off without both say it at the same time? That our tagline. Let's try it, okay? Let's synchronize our sign off.
Okay.
So okay. We are the
Boo-Foons mystery.
Okay, now try again.
Boo-Foons.
No, make it more obvious. You're going to say it, then I can say it. Okay, ready?
Yeah, but I was following your lips.
Oh, I was still following yours. Right, Karen, do it again.
Right. Okay. Boo-Foons.
You waited for me again. We're supposed to wait. I'm following you.
Okay, you're following me.
I'm following you. Okay.
Okay, ready? Boo-Foons mystery
investigators.
Yeah.
Who
knows whether we've done that or not? Maybe we'll just stick to a sign off where maybe we can take it in turns or something.
Yeah, or we get a professional, perhaps.
Yes, more professional than us.
Actually, maybe we'll get professionals just to record the whole podcast.
Yes, or do what some of the podcasts out there are now doing, where you just write up a script and get AI to just film the episode for you and record it for you.
No, that's not even funny, Dan. You're right. You have no sense of humor.
Yeah. So we have been the Boo-Foons mystery investigators. I've been Dan.
And I've been Steve.
And goodbye for both of us, and be back for the next episode where we will be exploring a mystery and a story of the unknown and unexpected.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Boo-Foons, where mystery lives, they're never far behind.